Super Punch-Out! You know, as much as I love the original Punch-Out for the NES, it's funny, I never played the official sequel to the Super Nintendo version. So this was a rare treat for me, to find a classic game that I've never played. Now I did say official, because there was a Punch-Out 2 for the NES. Only it was so terrible and strange that they changed the name and disavowed it ever being part of the Punch-Out series. It had Mike Tyson fighting in space against aliens! And if you want to hear any more about this lost Punch-Out game, at the end of this review, I'll put a link to that video. It's really quite interesting. This title actually feels like it was more like the arcade version of Punch-Out that I remember playing as a kid. It was very cool and extremely hard. In fact, this game even institutes the same 3-minute time limit that the arcade machines did. Unlike the previous title that gave you 3 rounds to knock down your opponent, this time there's only 1 round and it is 3 minutes long. If at the end of 3 minutes you haven't knocked down your opponent 3 times, or they stay down 10 seconds, you'll lose. Even if you've been completely dominating the fight, you still lose. You can't win by decision in this one. This is the one thing that I dislike the most about this game, that they took out the 3-round system. It made the matches much more enjoyable in my opinion. I liked seeing the changes in the way the characters were looking in between rounds, and the banter between them. But that being said, it is still fun. It plays and feels like a Punch-Out game, only with much better graphics. The visuals were stunning for a Super Nintendo game. The characters had plenty of detail and moves that would make them different from each other. It was nice to see some of the characters from the previous game added into this one. In fact, all the characters had a cartoonish look to them, and for a 16-bit game, that was a remarkable feat. The gameplay itself was changed from what you might remember. You still throw punches low or high, and you block and dodge, but now there's a gauge at the bottom, which will rise if you can keep hitting your opponent without getting hit yourself. When it's all filled up, you can do an uppercut or a super punch where you can throw a series of quick hits at your opponents. You will have to be quick in your punches though, since most of the fighters were pretty fast and powerful. That being said, it's really balanced quite well. Your first opponent being, of course, the easiest. But even in the beginning, the fighters won't be a complete pushover. If you don't learn how to block properly in the third fight, you're going to have a very hard time fighting him. And I like that. Sure, it was frustrating at times, but every time I overcame a guy who had beaten me multiple times in the past, I felt this thrill of victory and satisfaction. I loved it. Now, all the fighters that you come across will have tells in the way they look or the way they move, which will tell you when a punch is coming. Now, depending on the fighter, it could only be a split second before you're on the mat because you didn't react quick enough. This is definitely one of those games where the Wii U save state option with the Virtual Console games will definitely come in handy. Now, after you beat a fighter, they give you the option to replay a fight at any time in the menu. You can refight them anytime to see if you can beat the top 10 times at beating them, who I just assume is the playtester's best times. Super Punch-Out was a lot of fun. It graphically looks great, it controlled well, and there was a lot of replayability in the fact that the fighters were fun to box against. Just like the original game, they took the sport of boxing and added in a great Nintendo twist to it, of having crazy matches, colorful characters, and fun gameplay. And this is one that I could definitely say you should buy it now. Thanks for watching this review. If you'd like to see my very first PlayStation 4 review, just click on the button and it'll take you to my new channel, where the video is. The other button will take you to Guru Larry's video on Punch-Out 2, or you can click the button to subscribe. Thanks for watching.